Hey, it's that time of year. Every year, my website, Adventure Otaku, does a list of Christmas gifts for the adventurer in your life. This year, I'm going to do it a little bit differently. It's gifts for the adventurer in your life that will make their adventures both better and safer. So a little bit different, a little bit more towards my roots, which is education, and a little bit less just gift giving. But here's the list. Okay, before I get started with this list, I want to point out that I'm not sponsored by anyone. I'm not paid to recommend these products. This is gear that I use on a nearly daily basis that has worked well for me, that I think will work well for you to make your outdoor adventures better and safer. So that's my disclaimer. That's on my list that is super important is hydration, and I've spent years finding the right sort of hydration product for me. Water is great, and most of the time it's what I drink, but there are definitely times when it's not enough. And a thing I've been liking a lot lately are the Noon products. I forget what flavor this is. Tangerine lime. Noon, tangerine lime. I'm not sponsored by Noon. I just think it's a really good product. For a long time, I was doing Scratch Labs, which I think tastes really good, but then I realized it's got a ton of sugar in it. So I've stopped using Scratch Labs. And so you put it in your water. It's designed for 16 ounces, and that's right about 16 ounces in there, 500 milliliters. And it dissolves like an Alka-Seltzer. I once popped one in my mouth, thinking it'd be funny. It wasn't funny. I've used just about every dry bag made, and I somehow inadvertently ended up with nothing but Sea to Summit bags. It wasn't a plan, it just sort of happened, which to me is an indicator as to how good their product is. I just sort of kept sliding into their products as opposed to other manufacturers. I use them kayaking, obviously. This is actually my first aid kit, so that goes a lot of places. They have a lot of different thicknesses. This is the lightweight. There's an Ultra Sil. There's a Big River, which is a thicker bag. So I highly recommend them. I don't use a pack cover when I'm backpacking, but I use dry bags inside my pack. So Sea to Summit dry bags from sizes from 1 liter to, I think this is 13 liters or 8 liters, are by far my dry bag of choice. I want to talk about 2 other pieces of gear for the 2019 Christmas list for the adventurer in your life, and I've got them right here. The first one is the Black Diamond Spot 325. This is on the list every year. It is a great headlamp. It's ridiculously bright. The only thing I don't like about it is the beam is very flood, which is good for most of the time, but if you're ever doing sort of search and rescue-y stuff, and you want a beam, it doesn't do that real well. But for most people, a flood is what you need, and it is really bright, of course fully articulated, of course waterproof, to 1 meter underwater for 30 minutes. But enough for most everyone in the outdoors. If you want a little bit more, there is the Storm, which is both more waterproof and brighter. But that is a really, really great product. And as I said, it's on the list every year. Oh, and the reason it's on the list every year, Petzl makes nice headlamps, but they don't do this. They have like 3 settings for brightness, and this one you can just dim to wherever you want. It is freaking awesome. I love that. So that's on the list this year. And another thing that's on the list this year is this is the Sunto M3. I think it's the M3D, just a really, really nice base plate compass. I've used it backpacking, I use it paddling. It works really well on the deck of a kayak on your map case, or in the backcountry. And I've even been using it a little bit doing practice stuff for sailing as I'm learning how to navigate for sailing. So really nice compass. And the thing I really like about it, but I can adjust the position of the orienting arrow so that you can offset for declination. so you don't have to do math, because, you know, I'm not good at math. Another piece of gear for the list is field notebooks. I use these all the time. I think I have about 1,000 of them, and generally I give them a title. This is I think it's called the Expedition. It's waterproof pages, which is really nice because my life tends to be pretty wet. So field notes books, they're little, they can fit in your pocket, they are great for notes. I sometimes do line, but this is just dotted. Big fan, big fan. Field notes, way to go. Another thing on the list for the holidays this year is Deep Survival by Lawrence Gonzalez. I don't think that this is the current cover. This copy is pretty old. This is an awesome book. It's become almost required reading for outdoor educators. The subtitle, Who Lives, Who Dies, and Why. It's the science of survival, and it is just an awesome, awesome book. I heard a rumor from someone that a sequel to it is coming out, Deep Survival 2, so check that out. That's official on the Adventure Otaku holiday list. Not official, I would be remiss if I didn't mention my book, which is called Go. 300-something pages, all on trip planning, everything from gear selection to planning a route, to social media, to sponsors, just about anything. It's in there. This is my mini library up here. Another good read, this book has fallen apart, but another good read is The Spirit of St. Louis. Is actually a really good adventure read. And then the ultimate adventure read is Endurance, about Shackelford's trip in the South Atlantic and Antarctica. Another really good book. And of course, there is always The Simple Guide to Kayaking and The Simple Guide to Stand-Up Paddleboarding. And The Simple Guide to Backpacking is also out. But Deep Survival is on this year's list. Awesome book. Always pack a first aid kit. If you don't pack a first aid kit, you're going to need it. The bigger your first aid kit is, the less likely you are to need it. These are Brett's rules. So pack a first aid kit. I've done a video on first aid kits. I'll link to it up there. Pack a first aid kit. More importantly, take a wilderness first aid course, or even better, a wilderness first responder course. The wilderness first aid, the WFA, the WFA, which is called a WFA, is a 2-day course. Just about anyone can squeeze in a weekend. The WFR, the wilderness first responder, or WFR, is called a WFR, is a 9 or 10-day course. If you take a WFA in the Southeast, maybe you'll run into me, because I teach about 10 or 11 or 12 of them a year. The important thing is to know what to do. The first aid kit is great to have, but if you open it up and you don't know exactly what to do or how to figure out what's going on with your patient, it's useless. So take your time, learn the skills needed, and hopefully you'll never need them, right? The deal with particularly the compass and the first aid kit, the reason that it's important to buy that for someone you care about who's active in the outdoors is that there are things that people don't like spending money on. There are things that people don't think about needing until they actually need them. So it's not until someone gets hurt on a trip that you're like, I wish I had a really good first aid kit. Or I wish I knew how to use the stuff in my first aid kit. It's not until people get lost or get that feeling in their pit of their stomach that they might be lost that they're like, oh, I should have a compass and know how to use a compass. Those are things that people don't like to buy for themselves, that they need to have and they need to know how to use. And so the point of changing up the list this year is that people need to be better prepared when they're active in the outdoors. Like the video a couple weeks ago when I passed the guy paddling in cold water without wearing his PFD. It was on the back deck of his kayak. That person probably didn't understand the risks that he was facing by paddling without a PFD in cold water on a cold day. And so that's how you can help out someone that you care about that is active in the outdoors, is you can set them up for success, get them a first aid kit, get them, or at least plant the seed for them to take a wilderness first aid course, get them a compass, and at least plant the seed for them to take a map and compass class, or just buy them entrance into a map and compass class. That's not that expensive. You know, 20 to 70 bucks will get someone in a map and compass class. And so that's why those things are important, and they're a little different than other Christmas gift ideas that I've talked about in previous years, which really is the theme of this whole list. The next thing on the list is the REI Passage 1. It's the least expensive one-person tent that they sell, and it's a great tent. I don't have a lot of tents. Some outdoor educators have a ton of tents. You can just kind of sort of see. I have a Quarter Dome 3, also from REI, which is their lightweight three-person tent. And this is for when my wife and I go camping with the dogs. And then hidden down under here in a couple different bags and its poles is a 4-season tent that I only use in places where I have really extreme weather. Alaska, coast of Maine, or camping this time of year, which is November, December, out on the coast of North Carolina, where you can just get surprising, really high winds. But I picked this up just a little while ago, the Passage 1, and I've been super happy with it. I've already used it on a couple trips. It sets up quick, it's inexpensive, it's roomy for a one-person tent, although admittedly I'm a small one person, but I have room inside of it for me and my, obviously, sleeping bag, sleeping pad, and gear for the night, extra layers, a headlamp, stuff like that. So really happy with that little tent. The final gift idea for this year seems super simple, but it's really important, and it's base layers. I meet people all the time on trips that can't effectively layer well, which means they're cold, they're not moving moisture. Base layers can be made out of synthetic materials or wool, particularly merino wool are the very popular ones. And so get someone that you care about a good set of base layers, bottoms and tops. I like ones with a zipper so you can vent heat. They work really well at moving moisture, keeping you warm. They come in different layers, different thicknesses, so that you can control how much warmth they're creating, super thin ones to super thick ones. So you can really tailor their usage throughout the year. Super simple gift, really effective. People generally don't want to spend money on it, so it's a good way to give someone a gift, something that they really need, that will really dramatically change their experience in the outdoors and make it safer and better. If you want to see the other lists, they're on my website, adventureotaku.com. That's how you spell it. And they're there. And so, and all of the things from this year will be on the list on the website for this year as well. So you'll see links to them and stuff like that. So that's the list. Happy holidays. Oh, in about a week, the stocking stuffer list will come out. You can look for that here. If you like this video, like, subscribe. That would help me out a lot. In any case, have a good holiday. Bye.